say, we go, it's the T.N.F or the T.A.F, Thursday afternoon for him, or a wee bit early the day, 5:30. That'll suit you down to the ground, though, Judge, will it not?
Oh, I'm an early bed guy, so this is great
You
for
are,
me.
mate.
Good to
Aye,
do a
perfect,
podcast
mate.
early if they have flights up in the sky, so that's
Mate, it'll be summer soon. The summer vibes are coming, mate. Thank God we're out of that darkness. We need to come up with a name for it if we're going to do it this time more often. You call it like drive time or something. Kind of before driving home for the work. Hello.
This time of day, your drive home, kind of.
Loving the polo shirt, mate. That is from. Is that the COVID season?
Do you know?
It is, eh?
I see all the COVID stuff. I don't see the strips. I don't know where any of them. I'll never wear them again ever because it's bad karma. It's bad in the universe to get that strip back out in the open again. But the polos and that, I know I don't really wear them. I just put this on because
it's nice. Yeah, I thought they got it right. I've got the white zippy with that, when it's like the green and the yellow stripe on the side, and it's annoying because it was a good start. I didn't think the strips were amazing, but I thought I'm not saying it's the best quality.
See when it first came out, I bought every single item, and I am not shitting you. See the first delivery I got to my door was about 400 quid. I bought everything out, man. And it was, to be honest with you, it was kind of. I was used to New Balance stuff. It fitted a lot better, and it was all ill fitting, and I never really wear any of it. But plus, we weren't at the games, as you know, so it's just gathers dust in the cupboard. But this stuff I bring out every now and again if I'm just. Because you know it's like I can't come on the pod in my jammies, so I come out the shower and just pick something on. But to be honest with you, I has got COVID vibes about it. But
one of the talking point for another night could be: is Adidas the most exciting signing Celtic have made in the last 5 years? I think when you heard they were partnering with Adidas, that was some buzz. And
I always thought it was the one we needed, but I would want the 80s Adidas or even the mid-90s Adidas. You know, like that.
The trefoil, mate. Imagine Celtic stuff with the trefoil.
I see the tracksuits for the 80s and 90s, man. They were top. They would fly off the shelves even now. They tried to bring back a kind of revamped version at the beginning of this season of a couple of the kind of older stuff.
I've got them.
I don't think it took off as much.
It's not. Do you know why? Because all they've done is literally just embroidered on the wee trefoil logo there, and and the Celtic badge. There's no even stripes on a lot of it. It looks like it could be any top. They've just kind of added that on and went, well, kind of retro, man.
No, did that. It was the green. You remember in fact, the Celtic did it twice. Remember the green polo with the badge.
Gypsy says, Bhoycie, you're live. Has this been a bit too conversational, Jim C? I apologise. We will get to on-field matters, mate. I like that.
Jim, I'll carry on my conversation there till we finish. Right, okay, mate, let's go, mate. Let's get the good stuff.
He's got shots, mate. He's getting us right. We'll do can we do all that good stuff, Jim? Is that all right, mate? All that good stuff, please. Give us a like, please. Give us a share. Thumbs up, thumbs down. We don't care. It's all good. And if you want to hit that subscribe button if you've not already, where you been? Hit the subscribe button. There's a wee bell so you get notifications if me and the judge are doing impromptu live or earlier live shows, so you don't miss a beat on the bus. And remember to go to piesports.com, tasty pastry treats, and you can get your pies in there. Hundreds of flavours. Donny still being the best one. 12.5% discount at the checkout when you use the code BUS1888. Fucking, I'm getting good at this, man. 3 years. 3 years, mate. I'm nailing it now. Anyway, Judge, what a night it was last night. The most unexpected night in a very unexpected season. A season that's continually surprised us, not always in a positive way. Last night, very, very surprising what happened. Very much, as I say, unexpected, but a very welcome unexpected performance from Celtic.
Do you know what? I thought the place had a wee feeling about it last night. As soon as I arrived at the stadium, I thought it just felt like we took a wee turn against Motherwell. Hi, Pam. I think the second half against Motherwell, we needed that. I think we needed to show our mental strength in the second half. I think that game probably did us better than a 4-0 win. And I'll explain on that because I think we saw both sides of Celtic. We saw the side that we've seen all season for large parts were backs against the wall, we're struggling, we can't string a pass together, we're looking clueless. But in the second half, we saw a team that is able to win this league, can compete in Europe, has got a manager that can make changes, that can dictate games, and I think we did that, and we needed that because we're all questioning the players' mentality. I mean, what mentality that is? We go down 1-0, half time, it's all going against us, we go out and score within 5 minutes, and then into the 90th minute, and I'm going to be honest with you, I knew we were going to score, and I don't say that very often. I thought we're scoring here. I thought Celtic, for the first time in a long time, were pushing towards the very end, and I thought last night, having a wee chat around the table before the match started, and I was like, if we show any character like we showed in the Motherwell game, we'll fucking run amok tonight. I just had a feeling that Celtic, and as soon as I got to my seat last night, I just felt Celtic are going to do this. And then within 1 minute, we gave away 3 chances, basically. And I went, oh, fuck. Positive Marc made an arse of it again. But we turned it around like that. And, you know, there was 4 areas, in my opinion, that Celtic need to fix. And it was like, Carter Vickers took that edge off of the defence. That weakness we've got, that kind of anxiety that Rodgers mentioned. Midfield, we needed that link man. We need that person who's going to allow your 2 players to move forward and just drop off, take the scraps, and start the ball rolling again. And we were transitioning from defence to attack within 2 passes again last night. And that was a lot of it was doing to Awata. And then with, I thought, not only was Yang man of the match for me, I thought Yang last night was fucking outstanding. But Maeda, he was getting on the end of crosses. He was switching the wings. He got a goal for switching the wings. He was getting amongst it. He was getting involved. And I also felt the fourth part of the puzzle that I felt needed fixed was the striker. I felt he was a target man. I thought he was a focal point. It was the very tip of that arrow. You point towards the goal, mate, and somebody has to point towards the goal for you. And he's the man for it just now anyway. And I think, and if you look at that, I mean, the fullbacks, I think, have fixed itself. I think Johnston's form's increased with Greg Taylor coming back as well. And I think the central defence needed fixed. We all knew that. That was needing fixed yesterday. So was the central midfield. We had to find a solution to this problem we had. It was working, we were getting by, but it wasn't sparkling. We'll find that in Awata because Awata can get the ball on a half turn. He can start passing the ball. He can take 2 men out with 1 pass. McGregor's there. O'Reilly's there. Taylor's inverting. Johnson's going out the way. All over the place. And then again, as I said, Yang, definitely one thing for sure. I don't think you're going to get 25, 30, 8 out of 10 performances out of Yang. But he's got that spark in him where he can take a man on. He can beat a man. And again, to finish off on it, I thought the missing puzzle, as I've said there, was the striker. Now, the boy, I didn't want him in. I thought it was a bit underwhelming. But we've sat here and endured the Scottish media talk about how Rangers were the ones who pushed the transfer window. They've got 3 goals or 4 goals are amongst their January side already. Well, we've got one striker who scored 5 alone. 2 were 2 doubles in a game that won as a match. And 1 was a fucking fantastic header to, in my opinion, seal the match last night at 2-0. So that guy made an impact. And Kuhn's no really. But the narrative isn't as black and white as what the media want to make it just now. And maybe that's where some of Rodgers' comments come from, where it's not just the fans that are causing grief, because the fans have got a right to cause grief. I think you'd have to be a different planet if you think the fans are only unhappy with the situation just now. But that's park that to one side for 1 minute. The press are putting a lot of petrol in this fire, you know what I mean? They're fueling this fire, you know what I mean? And even last night, I joked on Twitter about the headline for today's, and I was right. Rangers, overcoming. Oh, well done. Oh, wow, champion spirit. Celtic won 7-1 to ease Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers. Oh, what's the word?
Stress, worries, whatever it may be.
If that's your takeaway from watching, in my opinion, the best 45 minutes of football that anybody's played all season, if that's your takeaway in a match where Celtic scores 7 goals, seven different goal scorers, a youth player scoring a 20-yarder, a striker scored a great goal. Our captain and O'Reilly, who were both needing a goal, both getting one. Maida, who needed a goal, got one. Ada, who needs a home goal, he got one. It was a perfect performance in terms of what you want to do to certain players. Even Greg Taylor, who in my opinion has been really good since he came back, he got a goal to top it off. And I thought myself, let the media have that narrative, Bhoycie, because as I said to you last week, Jockstein says, you think this is just lucky, then you're not going to try and stop us. And I think this is it. Let them get all the good press, let them hype themselves up, because seeing you at the top of the mountain, it's a long way to doing what you for. Celtic will keep an eye on himself just now. In my opinion, Sunday is just as big as Ibrox, because you go to Ibrox with foot winning on the Sunday, it's a totally different perspective altogether. So Sunday is, for me, is the next game, and it's the most important game just now, and it's probably a high value game for Celtic, because go there and win there after a statement victory last night, and then all of a sudden arses in Ibrox, they start twitching because they think this animal we thought was going to get put down isn't did yet.
It's a very good point. I love your synopsis and a lot of that, mate. I want to go back to one of the ones you made there about we found the top point of the arrow, if you like, and the arrow has to point towards goal. I think that's very clever, Judge. And I also totally agree. And I want to dovetail it with a couple other points that you made there with regards to the fullbacks. You've been impressed by Greg Taylor's return. You think Johnston's found his form again. It all ties in. They've got now a purpose for the type of play that we're playing. I think they know deep down, if you're playing crosses early, and that's what's been happening since second half Motherwell and last night, we're playing crosses at a far earlier state from 25, 30 yards away from goal, swing them in deep. It doesn't need to be Ida on the end of it.
No.
But the players are tuned in to do it because Ida's the focal point of the team, as you rightfully pointed out. It's changed their dynamic. It's changed what it's making the tactics look 10 times more effective than it was. And I think the early crosses, whether that was, Brendan could argue, well, I've always instructed them to do that. You know, they just weren't before. I think subconsciously you don't do it when there's a guy the same height as the wee fella up front. You know what I mean? And it's, what's the point? I mean, you're not gonna be putting cross like that in, even if it is what's being coached into. You're going, oh, hate the fucking now. Let's try another ball. Let's get closer to the goal. Let's try and work out the tap-ins for him. But now it's not a unfashionable style of football that's being played. I think at times a term like playing more direct is almost offensive to the new wave football fan. To me, it is a bit more direct, but it's done with purpose, and it's done certainly with a bit of a method behind it as well. At no point were we playing ugly football last night, but getting balls into the box, funnily enough, Mark, creates chances. And funnily enough, the more chances we create, more chance we'll score goals. I think Ida will be loving life right now going, oh, this is a dream for me. It takes you back as well to the summer to an extent. I don't want to dwell on it in a negative manner or anything. But Rodgers, surely, for the love of God, and if he didn't, then, you know, all on him. But surely he could have identified this then and went, love Kyogo, love he signed a new deal, but you're forcing my hand here to be playing someone that's not going to fit what I want to do. We all seen what Mr. Dembele did for Brendan Rodgers at Celtic. And then latterly, we've seen Odsonne Edouard have a bit of an impact as well. Not saying Edouard was on the end of headers or anything, but certainly someone that gives you that focal point and encourages you to get balls into the box. Dembele in particular, I felt that was someone that just gave you that, there's a target there. And it's not lumping balls up to him, but you feel that presence. I think the team's feeling the presence of Ida being in it right now. It's not about one-upsmanship on Kyogo in any way, shape or form. This guy's been an absolute gem of a signing for Celtic. £4.5 million doesn't get you the volume of goals and the volume of important goals that man has scored for Celtic. But the fact of the matter is, for whatever reason this season, it's not worked. No one can deny that. The big moments against Rangers, no could take that away either. But they play a different style to the 10 teams who'll come up against domestically in the league. It's simple as that. They are better players, so they can take more of a chance. And that has allowed Kyogo at times more space, and to play more freely. It's styles make fights. I was saying this last night, and the style that you're going to come up against in Scotland, and I think for a silly argument's sake, Neil Warnock's got a bit of a fright when he's came up to Scotland. This is not just because it's not maybe a level of footballer that a lot of the championship clubs have. You're still up against a completely different dynamic. You're up against a completely different style of team. And I think the way Celtic play under Brendan doesn't suit Kyogo being a lone striker.
No.
If you were to be bold and try and change it to a 4-4-2, something like that, again, you'll hear dinosaur rhetoric to it when that even gets said now. He would need to be doing the layoffs, the running off, picking up the scraps when we need it. I get that. But as a lone striker in Brendan's setup, it was born for someone of the profile that Ida brings. Some of the profile that Dembele brought back in the day. I'm not comparing the two in terms of ability. I think that'd be utterly mad. But you can see, I think the guys that you're talking about that you feel have improved in terms of the fullbacks, I think a lot of that can be put down to a different number 9 up front.
Of course it can. I mean, even if you look at Alistair Johnston, I've been a big critic of that guy. He's now found a target man in the box. He's crossing the ball 5, 6, 7 times a match now, and he's getting his man. In fact, last night, if you look at the goals, I might be wrong here, but I think 5 of them came directly for a ball into the box. Now we don't score like that very often, and we got 4 or 5. 5, I think. I think only the boys kind of Cullen Short, Kelly, which was an absolute billion. And I'm pleased for the boy. And one other, maybe McGregor's goal. The rest of them are early balls into the box. You know what I mean? And that's not like Celtic. We don't score for set pieces. We don't score for balls into the box because we've not got a target man and we're not committing players forward enough. To me, look, last night, anytime the ball into the box, there was 3 or 4 players there. Whereas before, you seen Kyogo and then Maeda running to try and grab the ball before it goes out for a shy. And that's why you saw a season. And you can say, oh, look at Palmer's crosses and he's no delivering much. You go, well, is there another side to that? Was he delivering 50-50 balls, maybe 60-40 balls to somebody who's one, no big enough or physical enough to win the ball, and 2, won't pretend that he's physical enough to win the ball either. So I think you got to find a team. I think you'd be very naive to think that every player fits every system. We've seen that. I mean, Kyogo, fantastic. I will question the 5-year contract. That's for another day. But he's been fantastic for Celtic. I said they won the league this year, and you look back at the wins against Rangers, and you go, he was a major part of that. He was the part of the, and you go, you can't fault the guy's effort and all the rest of it. I do think there's something there. Like even when he's getting the chances, it's either confidence or it's something that's missing in his game. I don't know what it is just now.
That one last night goes in last season, eh?
It does, that one. It does. I think the linesman flagged him for offside to get away with that one. I don't know. If you ball your Stella does that to you, makes things a bit more hazy, boys.
I get that. No, I don't think it was. Not from my memory was it was flagged offside.
Was it? No, that's good.
I don't think so, but it was. I just think that's a brilliant example of that. Whenever you go, that goes in guaranteed last season.
Last week too, the same ball through Motherwell last week on his shoulder, and he's got the ball coming to his side, and we've seen Kyogo just tuck them away. And it was a very kind of team effort right to the goalkeeper. But they ones are very hard to take. But Kyogo, the reference point with Kyogo is we're referencing Kyogo against Kyogo's performances before, and you're seeing chances that he did put away before that he's missing now. And this is the thing that's why I mentioned McGregor and O'Reilly getting a goal last night. They were needing something because they're coming under a lot of flack recently. We needed a performance. Sometimes a goal just spurs you on. I thought even O'Reilly's celebration, it was kind of like muted. I thought maybe it's maybe a guy that's maybe like he's been wanting.
He knows. He fucking knows. That was the vibe I got.
And I also thought Carl McGregor, and he was kind of clenching his fist. He got a good goal, but that's what I'm saying. It all happened for us last night. Our left back, who's been getting grief, he's come back in, played excellent. He got a goal. Maeda, so much stick for Sunday last week. He got a goal. Ida, his first home goal on the back, I scored a double. keeping that momentum going. McGregor, Riley both get a goal. The youth player who believed they come on, give minutes, he get a goal. It will do his confidence. They get well at the end. Joe Hart will get a clean sheet, perhaps maybe the only blunt in the copybook. But to be honest with you, it 6-0 at half time. That was a performance of the night last night. And no press or no bad vibes will take that away from Celtic. We don't need anybody to tell us when we play well or play bad. We can enjoy the Rangers getting beat on Clyde One and all the rest of it, and enjoy the hilarity of that, right? But us as a fan base, we don't need to be told when the things are going good or things are going bad. We know ourselves. We watch Celtic often enough. We're no delusional like England fans 1 week before the World Cup. They're going to win the World Cup. Rangers in July and June are going to win the league every year until somebody tells them that there's a football involved and it doesn't work out that way. So we don't need the press to lie to us. So I just thought last night, anybody that was in the stadium, anybody that watched the game, anybody that watched the highlights, ex-players and pundits talk about it quite often. See when your team starts to kick on at the right time of the season, that's when you begin to see what a team's made of, Bhoycie. Do I think that the players have looked at themselves at half-time in Motherwell and thought, we get 45 minutes to win to or we lose this league? I do. I think they've had a conversation at half-time. I think they thought to themselves, Rodgers denied it, but if we went the second week in a row and lost that match and totally blew our lead, it's a different kettle of fish for winning the game the 93rd minute, and that euphoria, the fans together, the manager together, then following up with a 7-1 victory at home. And this is where it gets interesting for Celtic. Now we've found, for the first time all season, this galvanising victory, because it's been victories plotted along, wee dots, the odd draw, but there's been no galvanisers yet as such. I thought Easter Road was going to be that. Easter Road 2-0, 2-1, 2 goals, a goal in the last minute.
We've had a million kick-on from here moments, eh?
We've had a million this is it moments, but we've not a galvaniser. I thought third part was a galvaniser, right? And the cheer at half-time yesterday, let the players know that this is what we are expecting, and this is the reward that you can get. The adulation comes when you start to churn out performances that we know we're capable. We're not asking players to do things we don't think they're capable of doing. We've got a manager, £3 million a year, and he's new maybe realised that he's in a title race, and things are starting to kick on. I'm not convinced that it's all champagne and skittles, boys. It has a long way to go, and I'm no over-egging last night's performance. I just think that I can't sit here and criticise Celtic when they're playing shit, and then in the same vein, try to pick out the fucking absolute positives that last night brought. The result and the performance, the result and the performance is two separate things. So it's one thing, but for me, it's separate for what it meant to the atmosphere when they play Bhoycie, because you weren't going to work this morning with a wee spring in your step. You weren't scared to put the radio on or read a newspaper because you thought to yourself, there's absolutely nothing that they hack bastards can say to take away what we felt last night. And if we get Mary's performances, then I tell you something, there'll be a lot more happy days on this podcast. I tell you that for nothing.
No, I totally agree with that as well. It was it's an interesting one because there's been a narrative shift, and that's not because Celtic have been getting good press at any point this season. And to be fair and frank about it, they've not really deserved it in terms of performances, Judge. I don't think. But the narrative shift did occur at the weekend, and it almost looks like a masterstroke by Brendan, albeit I don't think it was. I think it's just landing on our lap, and he's grabbing advantage of it massively. And it's all about the good girl comment. And it's so funny that within that same interview, he's preempted inadvertently what he was meaning. He's trying to say, you have a certain script, right? I.e., Rangers have got this in the bag. We'll write our own script, i.e., we still see ourselves winning this title. It's what we tend to do. It's what I do. And I'm not going to tell you that. And then he says, good girl at the end. No problems whatsoever. And our mate Richard Gordon goes, oh, and it turns into a bit of a scandal. But what it's done is firstly prove Roger's original point. You have stories writ or plural that aren't going to be shining Celtic in a good light. Completely proven by the attempt by the media. I think what's he called? Graham Spears. He's acknowledged. No, he's acknowledged it though. He says, myself included, he said the media seem to want to jump on the good girl remark, yet the wider public have shown a very, a complete lack of interest in it. And you're like, exactly. But at least you're calling it. That's exactly what it is. But inadvertently, what they've done is two things: proving Roger's right that you have your own story written, and it ain't a good one for us. Almost instantly. Secondly, you've turned it to being about the guy with the biggest ego at Celtic, bigger than Peter Lawwell's, and that's Brendan. Wounded animals, mate, always stay away from them, particularly if they have a reputation for winning their battles. You've got to accept, whether folk like it, whether they don't, this is a territory Rogers winning titles here is what he demands and what he expects of himself. And just for whatever reason, I think this media, not giving Celtic praise for last night, and the headlines being about Rangers scraping past Kilmarnock, we all knew that was coming, right? Nobody cares. But see, the one that they really fucked it on is the players now are free from the microscope, that sort of nature, the goldfish bowl. It's now all on Brendan over utter bollocks. And the best thing he did is the fact that he came out and refused to apologise and basically blames it on society. And I thought, do you know what? Everyone's nodding along and agreeing with that that's got half a brain. And I genuinely think Rodgers is now going, this is the pot that I wanted to create. I'm not convinced he's done this all himself. I don't think he said good girl to do it. And he's went, it's landed in my lap. I wish I'd thought of this earlier. Now we've got all the fans going, fucking, is that right, aye? And whether there's a lot of them still to be convinced of being Team Brendan, this Celtic manager you're trying to accuse of what? Misogyny? A club open to all. Celtic is these are things we pride ourselves on as Celtic fans, is we don't fall in that trap. In fact, we're so far away from the trap, they've had to try and go to court over the word hun to try and make us to be people that we're not. And that's when when you think about it, you go, you ain't getting away with now the first opportunity jumping down, whether it's Brendan Rodgers or Ginger Rodgers, it makes no fucking odds. Who's in charge? At the end of the day, proud of that one myself. I was on a roll there. You threw me off, Mark. I've never seen you laugh before.
I didn't want it was a hive.
But what I think on the back of it is they've created a perfect storm for us. The players, without that focus on them, mate, played with the shackles off last night. We could talk about the formation and all that till the cows come home, no problem. And that's a massive factor as well. But let's not be daft here and not think the players not feeling that pressure on them has massively helped as well. Brendan can take it. That's why he gets paid 65 grand a week, by the way. So it's not like, hope you're doing all right, Brendan. I don't give a fuck. That is what you're paid to do. But I also think, inadvertently, like I say, he kind of likes it. I go back to a point I made, and I think you laughed in the group chat as well, and I'm going to stand by this one. And it's you who listed the points, right? To be honest, Judge, and they're all true. They're all absolutely true. You said when you're under a backdrop of a fan base disillusioned with the board, a fan base disillusioned with the reappointment of a certain manager, a board that don't like the manager that's been appointed by Desmond, and then you've got a team that's disillusioned by the style of play. You tell me when that works out, and you go, fucking true. So suddenly this is going to become Celtic are still stuck at 2 in a row, Judge. Brendan's now catching them up. It'll be Brendan Rodgers' title if we were to win it this year. When you consider all that, I think he will go in the summer. I still stand by that. But if he does, You'll be like, that one's fucking on me. Ask the judge for the reasons why. that was an impossible situation.
Well, it's the same. I think any manager in the last 25 years won things in spite of the board, not because of the board. And I think if they won the league this season, for a manager to come in and I'd probably say 50-50 whether he was wanted or not. And then the players and all the things you outlined there, if that's successful, then it's hats off to him. You know what I mean? It is, and it was a bit of a galvanising as well, because we all know that the press, right? We all know the press, but they took a shot at the Celtic manager last week, and they missed, because I think society is very fucking. I mean, good girl, fuck up. I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, that's the sort of shit you say every day. I go cheers him to a lassie or somebody I walk by. Doesn't mean I'm trying to be patronising to them. And if I do sound patronising, then it's because I'm a man and I can be if I want to be. You know what I mean? But you don't behave that way, you know what I mean? It's just, but I like his response last night. It was a cracker. She said to the same lassie said to him, "Is there anything you said to the players this week that's galvanised them?" He said to her, "Well, it's not what I said to you."
That was brilliant.
I thought he's kind of, that's that end of story now. I think it was the end of story anyway. I think they tried to put pressure on the manager with that one, and as much as we're all this snowflakes of society, I don't think. In fact, there was right after he said that there was press. The press were coming out and saying he says good guy and good boy. It's what he says after interviews. He said where he's Fair Island, they say that all the time, like good lad and all the rest of it. And I thought, well, that's not going to grow on your legs, but it did, but it failed straight away. I mean, do you know something? I think I was waiting for this to be the next Me Too movement. You know what I mean? I was waiting for the SNP to get involved and Nicola Sturgeon to come out of a caravan parked inside her mother-in-law's house that she stole off of the taxpayer, and came out and say, I want custodial sentences for all Celtic fans and their manager. And just quickly on that, anybody that seen the North Curves post on Twitter, they Polis kneeling on that boy's neck. I don't know if you've seen it, Bhoycie. There was
I did indeed.
Polis, and anybody that's ever saw a Polis will tell you they're about fucking 6 foot and 15 stone. That boy was about my height, Bhoycie, wee skinny thing as well, and they were kneeling on that wee boy's throat. And
6 foot 2.
Aye, of course, aye, fucking the long hair, and these bastards think that's all right, and I'm not going to be negative towards Celtic tonight, but they came out and condemned the Celtic fans quite openly this season with a big. I wanted to see the Celtic come out and saying, look, we've seen this video and we've asked for answers. We gave that Anis Arwar. He came out and said, did you know learn your lesson for young lassie you caught, the young boy you caught the last time kneeling on their neck? And then I thought, right, at least there's politicians involved here. It will be looked at. And before the match, we also saw the photographs. Now, listen, it's no police protocol to approach football fans with their batons out, because that's agitating the situation. It can make things aggressive. It can cause a fight. Anybody that's approaching people in an aggressive manner, you're going to get aggression back. The Green Brigade are still a small section of the fan base that go away for Celtic Park to away matches. And to a certain extent, they probably deserve a wee watchful eye over them. No with violence, because it's very rarely they start causing fights. They're just up to no good. They're the class clown, but they don't deserve to be fucking treated like animals, Bhoycie. And the guys like me and you are just got to matches. Don't deserve to be cameras in our faces. We don't deserve to be kneeled on with our necks or asked to remove scarves. And how come when you put a scarf? I know it's going half a story. How come when you put a scarf on, you automatically become a menace to society? I mean, I'm in middle management. I do well at my job. I'm a nice guy. I pay my bills. There's no concerns about me. But when I put my scarf on, all of a sudden I'm under scrutiny. I'm under some sort of different.
You want to try wearing one of my Paisley Patton ones, mate, tonight, right? I tell you, if you get in trouble then.
Well, that deserves violence of a high order, in my opinion. Maybe no kneeling on your neck, but at least a slap. But this is what I'm saying, Bhoycie. We've all been part of our supporters bus. It's been Paul Air. and your drink took off you, and there's this thing they could take the drink out the boot, and I mean, you're like, if it's not open, that's my property, but now they could just take it off you and fling it down the. That's what happens when you hire virgins. I mean, 35-year-old virgins that are Polish, they just want to spoil everybody's fun. And I seen that, and by the way, it's not just Celtic fans, it's Rangers fans, Commander fans, Motherwell fans. They all get, but Celtic fans, I think, have got a disproportionate amount of pressure on them when they go away fixtures because.
Why do you think the club haven't stepped in?
Because
that's something that's, even if it's virtue signalling pish, is an open goal to build some sort of attempt at a bridge. What they know is a customer base that hate them. They don't back down. They double down.
Maybe these pricks that sit in the mahogany tables and talk about Celtic like it's a hobby. Maybe they think, Bhoycie, that he's done something to aggravate that. If he walked up and punched a post, he's not going to deserve that, Bhoycie. And I can assure you, if he caused any trouble, that be on camera, there would have been some sort of leak to the papers that this boy deserved that in some way. But Celtic fans, listen, you slag Rangers all you want. If I was a Rangers fan, there would have been 14 statements just now. There would probably be somebody sacked by now, and there would have probably been some sort of comment in Parliament about that if I was Rangers. Rangers would have come out straight away and said something about that. We've not got the fans back as much as we should. You know what I mean? We all seen what happened to the atmosphere and the actual feeling about the club when a certain section was missing. And I hold my hands up. I thought at the time they had it coming. But by God, when you look at some of the things that's happening in that Palestine just now, the actual fucking filth that's happening to children and women there, I'm just glad your club is on the right side of history because there's a lot of folk now changing their stories.
The supporters are.
And hands up, Bhoycie, I've always been pro-Palestine. I don't go on about it much, but I think the Celtic, the board and the club, but we're trying to distance himself from that and try to make out like, that's no us. That is us. That is what we are fucking. That is us as a fan base. They care. We don't just stand back. And so I'm not saying we should turn into freedom fighters and all that, but I just think the club are so quick to condemn these guys when they come out and fucking done wee things or big things. But that was a dangerous situation with that young boy, Bhoycie. That could have easily the guy who was shouting, I can't breathe, and nobody's mentioned it. It's not been any papers or fuck all. Anis Arwar, he came out and said something.
I seen it, and the thing is, without being or trying to be overly dramatic, there's obviously a massive example of that in the USA only a few years ago. Remember the Black Lives Matter thing sort of kicked off. I know it spiraled into whatever it spiraled into, but at the time, remember the guy who's basically, the guy's literally surrendered, if you want to call it that. The hands are up, and yet that pressing still happens on the throat, and all that sort of thing. And football fans don't deserve that. But the point is, we can focus on without getting too into it because it'll probably just cause too much ruckus. But we can look at it from a Celtic standpoint, first and foremost. And for me, what really frustrates me is when you see an example of that, is even from a cynical view, see if they're absolute, against Celtic fans for whatever reason, and they're in their wee ivory tower, and they're a bunch of see if you're smart, which they like to think they are, you always score open goals, right? And this is me not trying to take anything away from the actual severity of the situation, by the way. Just looking at it from Celtic's point of view here, if we put ourselves in those shoes, you come out and you speak. It is a gift. It is there to go, let's get on side. George Lloyd, thank you, Alex. That is exactly the name, pal. That was who I was thinking of.
That guy was a convicted rapist, right enough. I don't really.
I know all that stuff, but see, if you look at it went too far anyway.
It's easy.
It was an example.
It's a PR gift. And I think
that's what I'm trying to say. But you see the visuals of that, and it's over forceful. I just like to focus on the Celtic stuff and go. From Celtic's standpoint, you fucking back your own. And I don't know how many examples this board want to give that they don't give two fucks, or for some reason they generally are literally almost kind of going, we don't like you. I don't like Celtic fans. I think you're right. And by not saying anything, it gets worse because it does take into the territory, which I think you were alluding to, that maybe he was to blame.
Aye.
What did he do though? He must have done something to warrant that. And I don't value that as people that really are Celtic men through and through. See, for me, you were talking about police bias, right? See, just as a human nature thing, I'm biased towards liking someone because they're in a Celtic badge.
Yeah.
Right? That's just an unconscious bias. I can't help it. See, if you're in charge of said football club that we're all in love with, I'd like to think that unconscious bias creeps in. I mean, they see that inner rage is a wee bit fucking more close to home. Instead, it's looked at through a completely different prism and nothing is said. I think that is extremely poor.
Oh, definitely is, Bhoycie. I think it's like your kids, you defend them first, you defend them first and then find out the facts afterwards. If you need to backtrack, you backtrack. Celtic should have, I think Celtic don't like the fans. I think Fergus McCann spoke about it years ago and he asked the board, like, why have you not got a season ticket fan base? And he was told point blank that when you've got a season ticket fan base, they become, they want too much off you. They become entitled. I don't think the board's mentality's changed all that much for the Whites and the Kellys, to be quite honest with you. I think it's just a different second name on the...
different surnames, similar approach, innit?
And it's the same. I don't think... Do you know... Even
but
like...
not against... See, the difference is, not against a juggernaut.
No.
Because David Murray was, whether it was fake money, real money, nobody cares anymore. It was the financial power they had to strengthen their team. We had the same mentality. The mentality's not changed. The surnames have, you're spot on. But the opposition against us is giving this lot the comfort blanket of trophies.
Yeah.
Because the other lot would be that much in the mire, ironically, from the first time this came around. But I think definitely, mate, there's a real comparison now to be made. That it's jobs for the boys. If you don't have Desmond, you don't have Lowell in your surname, you better be a second cousin. Otherwise, you ain't getting the gig.
Bhoycie, because I'll give you an example that proves how much they're not interested in the fans. So Johnson have got a season ticket fan base of just under 3,000, right? And they'll get 4 SLOs. We've got a 53,000 season ticket holder fan base. We've got 1 SLO, 1 supporters liaison officer, 1 person to be the go-between between the club and the fans, somebody to take opinions, somebody to ask questions to. A club of your scale with 1. I think if we had 1,000, it wouldn't be enough. Where's it? What happened to these fan engagement surveys? I can't remember the last time that I got one off Celtic. I really can't. I'm going back 4 or 5 years ago. The SFA did them every year. I think they put them in the bin anyway. But at least they're ticking that box. And as you know, boys, so you need to tick the box. And I think Celtic just don't do it enough. You just got that. He knows. That's a private joke. But we're just not doing that, boys. Say, like, surely to God, if they're sitting in a meeting and they all hate you, 1 must go like that. Hang on, can we do a wee bit of PR here? Can we at least try and kid on with it? Like, because if you run a supermarket, you want to treat your customers like shit because they're still customers. And if Celtic want to behave like a company rather than a football club, fine. I'm a customer. Where's my standards in the toilets? Why is there any hot water? Why is there any paper towels? Why when I go to my up to my concourse, there's untrained people at the kiosk put me off buying a pie? Why is there no facilities getting upgraded for 25 years ago? These are genuine questions that Celtic. You sit in the main stand, you've got a pie hut that was built in the 70s, for fuck's sake. It's not been touched. You've had a couple of face jobs.
Not at your level, mate. Definitely not at your level.
Oh, of course, mate. And see anybody that sits in that main stand just quickly off. And I know a few of them. They ask every fucking season when they're getting upgrades to the toilets, when they're getting upgrades to the, and they get told the same shit. It costs too much money, but that's neat. If you had a pub, Bhoycie, you'd at least fucking paint the doors, wouldn't you? You would keep the place look nice. They're not interested, Bhoycie. As long as they've got this facade that Celtic are this well-run, world-class club, world-class football club, and nobody's kicked the tires of that statement. They've got to protect. You kick the tires of Celtic, you will see a lot of fucking deficiencies, and at every level.
Totally agree with that. We look under the bonnet.
Look at the four Tims mentioned it. When they were getting emails about doing their pressers, things like that, they were saying they were getting them that pure amateur hour. Just it was they were getting it at the last minute. Just put
They didn't want them there.
And they didn't want them there because them like us don't want bourbon creams and biscuits. They want to ask a Celtic manager fucking real questions, and that's where they get hit in the nose, because they said openly that the guys running Celtic are fucking muppets, and nobody wanted to hear it. You know what I mean? And I've turned a good show into a bad show, but I think for me,
no, but I think it's important.
We had to mention this young boy, boys. We had to
Sorry.
mention the port. We did. I'm sorry, we had to mention that young boy getting nearly fucking suffocated, because
I'm glad you did.
A pod mention it, mate. I've not saw a pod mention it. I've not saw the press mention it, and that
Good
young
for
boy,
you.
fucking man,
That's good. I'm glad you did.
How harrowing would that must have been for that wee boy's man dad watching that video, boys?
Exactly.
That'd be turning
Exactly.
that was my wee boy. You know what I mean?
No, I think that's totally fair. And you know what? It falls in line with our fake, propaganda of keep your eyes on the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep your eyes on the ball. Why should you? This is what fucked us, to be honest with you, in terms of the last few transfer windows, is a couple of bits of success under Ange, only domestically, and the eyes were taken off the board. Oh, we just love Ange. You take the eye off the board and you missed what was going on. So it's great to be able to do that, and it means we're consistent. So I am glad.
Sleight of hand. Look at there. What's happening here? I'll get my hand in your pocket while I'm showing you a magic trick.
Exactly, mate. Artful Dodgers.
Sleight of hand, mate. I mean.
Okay, let's go through a couple of the points to round us off. I'm going to bring in Rod Patel. Great to have you on the bus, mate. New name. Never seen Rod Patel's name in the bus, so it's always exciting when you get new viewers, mate. Love that sort of thing. So, Rod, I don't know if you've been watching for ages or not. Maybe you have. I don't know. But anyway, cheers for bringing up a talking point for us. Does anybody believe Desmond will actually have a clear out of the board? I think, from my point of view on that, is they're always thick as thieves. So, Desmond didn't need to clear out the board when Peter Lawwell retired. That was something that could have been left as it was, and yet at the first opportunity to bring your old chum back, it was done. No one believes he will have a clear at the board. I don't think. I'm going to guess you don't either. That's why you're asking the question, Rod. It's very frustrating, the stranglehold that club have on Celtic. That board have on the club, because what it leads you to is Groundhog Day, and football's entertainment, whether people like it or not. We don't get our joy out of spreadsheet success. They do. 6 people, 8 people, 10 people, whatever it is. Millions, hundreds of thousands. Let's say millions, fuck it. Celtic fans across the world don't get joy of the same thing these guys do.
No.
They get joy of seeing Celtic breathing again, and finding their poise and finding their status again in Europe, which can be done with the current, and I'm talking about just the current, and that means, by the way, including 6, 7, 8 out of the last 20 Champions Leagues missed, where they should have been there, right? So that's a lot of money. Someone else can do the math. Let's say 200 million missed on that. Celtic, with their current setup, could be far more aggressive and far more of a force in European competition than what they currently are. That doesn't matter to a board that see finishing 4th, not having a go, is the same as finishing 4th, having a go. And I disagree with that. I want to see Celtic compete. I want points, not plaudits, and I can't deny that. But first and foremost, I want to know before a ball's kicked, we've got a fucking chance tonight. I've not felt that in a hell of a long time. And that is on them with more profit than we've ever seen in our life. The two things are chalk and cheese, And that tells you Celtic, from a fan's point of view and what we want them to be, is so far removed from what they do, because 10 people benefit, or however many people is, off what the balance sheets say. And that drives me insane. Judge, you anything else to add to Rod's point?
No, just quickly, I think we look at the league table, we look at a balance sheet, boys, you're spot on. They got a different buzz with it. And that's what came from a Roger Mitchell tweet that he said he's heard in Italy, that there's going to be a shake-up of the board. I don't think Dermot Desmond leaked stuff out. I think he might have heard something in the grapevine. The only changes you're going to see this summer is if anybody retires or whatever. I don't see the Celtic board doing anything that would make sense. And just before we carry on, I'm well aware I look like I'm telling a horror story to 5 teenage boys at a Halloween party.
You can go turn on your light if you want, mate.
Do you want me to turn the light on?
Aye, turn your light on if you want, mate. If you're...
Aye. There you go.
There we go. Get the disco lights on, mate.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had my wee torch on my...
You're fine, mate. Look at that. Did you have your torch on, mate? Is
Well,
that
I was just a little bit dark. I mean, as dark as my soul, mate.
As dark as my...
Hey,
we've all seen you laugh tonight, mate. We've all seen you laugh tonight. We know the mask has slipped. I love this one for Stephen Kennedy, because I think it's a brilliant talking point. And it's how much think Celtic would get for Ida on a permanent basis. In fact, I'll let you go first on that one, Judge.
I think you could get him for between 4 and 6 million. I think you would start.
Well, to set it up, the story is apparently Norwich wanted 8 million if they wanted to get him permanent in January. That's the word. £8 million they wanted in January apparently if you were to buy him.
Oh, that's a toe bashing the boys for even asking that kind of money for a guy who was third choice at them.
What is that kind of money though?
Well,
it's all changing so much now, mate. 8 million's fuck all the championship clubs now.
And you mentioned that when you said about the board, we're not getting into that, but that's just when you see teams like Copenhagen progress in Europe, the board don't like that, because that's an example of how it can work with a wee bit of squeeze on it. And this would be a wee bit of a squeeze. Listen, the boys no won a deal over yet. If you ask me, is the boy done enough to guarantee his place? I think it has, right. But Bernardo, for 210 minutes, looked a class act. He's fell off a cliff, so I'm not going to get too excited of my format game.
Is it a miss, though? Is it a miss that he does? See, regardless if we've been given a price tag on this guy in January, which we've sniffed at, obviously 8 million is too much for Celtic, even though they've got 67 now in the bank. Fuck off. It's 8 million's not a lot of money down south, and this is how far you're now beginning to fall away. See, just for an example, by the way, just to re-emphasise the point, around 10 years ago, Fulham paid 11 or 12 million pounds for Ross McCormick in the Championship. Or Villa did from Fulham, one of the two. 11, 12 million for... Remember the ginger boy that used to play for Rangers?
I know him well.
That was him. You know him well?
Got his cat or his dog. He doesn't follow me.
But 12 million then, mate, between championship clubs. And now, 8 million doesn't surprise me if that was the fee. What is bizarre about it all is if that is to be true, and I could be fucking wrong. I think I just read it off someone in the live chat one night, and I've took it as gospel. But see, the other side to it is there should have been, at the very least, whether it's only a 5-month loan or not, an option to buy on this kid.
Well, I'm surprised I've not.
Because see very quickly, I want to get your views on this, but we can't deny. People will say that the English clubs don't care about what goes up in Scotland. See, when he's your player and you're Norwich City, they do care, right? This is how they're all rich as fuck. The better he does, the more that fee now can go up. Whereas the pre-agreed fees, the ring-fenced money that you have agreed, as we had with Jota, Cameron Carter-Vickers, two guys to me that are snips at £6.5 million. Snips for the money that they cost. People don't like hearing that. Even they still think that's a lot of money for Celtic. But if this guy was signed with a first option at 8 million in the summer, I would be happy with that being the arrangement, and then we make a decision come the end of the season. As you rightfully say, it could be 5-6 games in the sun, and then we lose the league and he scored 1 goal in the run. Nobody wants to, but this gives you that power. Right now, let's say it was 8 million in January. Pushes him up to what, 10, 11 million? If this was to be a title-winning Celtic side, and he scored an emphatic 10 to 15 goals in that, and being the decisive factor, that's the muddy waters you can end up in without these, which was quite new to us, I think, as fans, this first option thing. But it shows you the benefits of it, doesn't it?
Well, I think the Jota and Carter Vickers deal don't happen without that guaranteed price on it, because Celtic's biggest problem just now is they're rich, because Norwich will see that they've posted £70 million spare cash to the bank. So they will say it's a Scottish team, but they've got it. If they want them, it's 10. As you said, the better he does at Celtic, then the higher the price tag is going to be for Celtic to get him. It might not be high valued in England. Nobody's probably going, oh, he scored 5 goals in Scotland. Oh, we'll buy him. But to us, there's a value. If he does well for us, he's got a value for us. You know what I mean?
But the best part is, you're right. But see, 8 million to them, that is that is that type of player now to them. Is £8 million. You know what I mean? Norwich, it's crazy.
Well, Norwich, they're in the Championship, aren't they? I think they're in the Premier League up until recently. Is that right?
I relegated a couple of years ago.
Well, so the parachute payments for the first year are good. Second year, begin to win half, and you get a couple of payments. So see, at £8 million, that turns into no chicken feed anymore, Bhoycie. That's like the guy who they put on EPL wages 3 years ago. That's his contract. Fucking nobody foot you gone bust. You know what I mean? Because when you put a player on EPL wages and they're on a 4-year contract, they're still on the same dosh in the Championship. You know what I mean? So that £8 million, you say. I mean, I think
honestly, I think it's different. I think they're so wrapped in cash. These even Norwich cities now.
Boys, this is the thing in England, and you're right. There's that much money, but there's players in these teams still getting 14, 15 grand a week. There's squad players getting that.
Yeah.
25, 30, 35. I think the average.
But the commercial deals now that are way outside even the prize money stuff. It's went crazy, mate.
I think the money afford it. Different level there, but there's a lot of English teams that are in trouble. You know,
right? So on the spot, what would you pay for either then? Say he just carries on this form. Say he finishes in 15 games, 15 goals, something like that. What do you think his market value is as a player?
I think how much do they want? If he's a Celtic player and he's scoring 15 goals and he's
in 15 decisive,
and he wins you £60 million in the Champions League, do you want 10?
8 to 10 million? We'd pay it. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Only with that caveat.
If that happens, that's the caveat I'm putting on it, of course.
See, the thing is, if he does do that, just fucking pay the money.
You can't lose him.
Pay it. And Rogers said last week or 2 weeks ago, Ida might be the big sign in the summertime, because he did say that. He went, we wanted the big sign. This boy might be the big signing. And we've not been told that there's a guaranteed, but Celtic tell nobody yet, Bhoycie. Maybe there is a clause in there. Rangers get one compensation for that. See that Tillman, they had first option. They didn't have the money, so they allowed somebody else to get the bid in. They get £1 million compensation because of that.
Do you believe that, honestly?
I did, because it was actually, I seen it.
Oh, no.
No, I did, Bhoycie, because see when they went to PSV.
You can't get money for a loan player, mate.
No. So the way it works is, so PSV came in and took him, right? So Rangers didn't have the money, but the Rangers allowed that deal to happen. You know what I mean? And so the PSV and the Dutch media, it was put there. I don't believe anything the media say about Rangers, right? Because it's all shite. But the Dutch media, they don't need to appease fucking Bobby and Govan. They don't. You know what I mean? So when they start saying things, I start to go, right, maybe it's true. And do you know something? The taxi driver last week told me that we're going to get £25 million for Jota and all. And Rangers fans will believe what they want to believe, and there's always a lie.
That's fair enough.
But
That's fair enough. Let's crack on, because there's a few now, obviously, because we've now highlighted the fact that the comments come in. There's a few more now coming in. We'll just go straight to Joe Henry, who's the most recent comment. I'm not jumping the queue or anything, but because it's relevant, how much a queue will be then? Celtic would, I think, in the summer, if his form were to continue in the path it is, and that's all we're saying about Ida, he's 5 games or 6 games, 6 games, 5 goals. If he finishes with 15 and 15 or whatever it is, on a similar trajectory, Kyogo will finish with what, 12, 13 this season. You would get your money back. You get your 4.5, 5 million. That's the reality. I don't think folk want to hear that, but that's the truth. 1 bad season in Scotland's 5 bad seasons in the views of it. And then even the big leagues, they're not going to look at him if he's had a bad season in Scotland. So then you're looking at your market, and you're looking at, it's going to be clubs from Holland, maybe. That'd be your best bet. That's what you'd be hoping for, just to get your money back. Out with that, it'd be similar standard leagues, and you'd be doing well to get your money back. So it'll all depend on what happens between now and the end of the season in terms of these valuations. If we told Kyogo last summer, and if Ange came in, maybe there's a different conversation that people would have. I think we'd all expected £20 million for him, and I think we all would have been raging that he left. Guy in his peak, he's scoring all the goals. And now with hindsight, you might have went, well, would have took that if that had been on the table. All hypothetical, of course. I love this for Patrick McLaughlin, Judge, from literally flinging it straight to you. If we only needed 4 players last summer to really improve, how many will we need this summer, do you reckon?
7. A goalie, left back, right back, midfielder, and replace O'Reilly, 2 wingers and a striker. Is that 7?
How many times have you, are you and Patrick pals or something? Do you rehearse this?
No. It's probably the right answer, because it's off the cuff. Then you think about it, and it's probably true. I think if you've been genuine,
it was frightening me. That was right quick. I'd still be counting my fingers out up to the 7. And you've just you've got Celtic's transfer plan already sussed. Get this guy on the board. I found
that letter. It was me. I was the cleaner that found that. Remember that one under Lennon? Remember? It's there, man. Oh God! It was and don't forget the milk. That was at the bottom, isn't it? It was if he goes, we'll buy this, and don't forget the milk, Peter. You know what I mean? It was for fuck's sake. Welcome to Celtic. Wizard of Oz.
Right, I'm just going to pull up the next point, but before we do that, let's say a big hello. Michael Crooks. You thought you were going top.
No, we didn't.
Get it right fucking up, you lot. Michael. Bhoycie, pleased to meet you. Thank you so much for searching this podcast name. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Thank you so much for contributing to paying my rent. I fucking appreciate it, Michael. We all do. Honestly, a big round of applause for Michael. Thanks for coming on, son.
He tuned in on the day after Celtic produced the best performance of any team this season. Michael, come back.
He's a great guy.
You can just Google the post-match pish for Ibrox when he beat his 1-0 or December 31st when he beat his 2-1.
I think he watches all the shows, Michael. Michael's great to watch all the shows.
Welcome, mate.
I've just had to block him, though, so good girl, Michael. And we'll see you later.
Welcome back, though, in disguise, incognito.
Right, okay. Let's do it. There's one word. Incognito. Good word. Right, okay. Last one, Judge, before we go. Last Judge. Smell the glove. T.N.F. Is the rumours of a board refresh just the usual nonsense to sell season tickets soon? Well, Mark, I don't know about you, but I'm still all in. Is it not? We're all in last summer. Take it away, mate, but I'll believe that when I see it.
All in your pockets, I think. I'm expecting the shortest ever window of the season tickets opening up to a deadline, because they're going to force you out a decision, Bhoycie. Alex, they're going to force you out a decision. I think they're going to call you a bluff, and they know there's a a waiting base there. There's like 10,000 or so. I think that's going to be a lot short on what they think, to be honest with you, because a lot of folk are disillusioned with the board as such, and then they want for season tickets because Doon, if you lose the league as well. So there's a few factors, but I think that's what came for Roger Mitchell. The guy who fucked up the league for the SPFL, the SPL TV deal, he fucked up.
Why has his voice got more credibility as times went on without him there?
Before he's moved away.
It's bizarre. Like, I know absence makes the heart grow fonder. In my opinion, absence makes my heart grow colder to all my ex-misses. But this Roger Mitchell suddenly like this voice of reason of like, you know, the fanny that nearly fucked it the whole thing up.
It did fuck
it. TV and all that. Like, what are you on about, mate?
He's sitting there with...
But SPL TV it was he wanted it.
He was talking to the guy about this new deal, and the guy spun the fucking computer screen round, and he's saying words and says, "Oh, is that right? What you try to do here?" Offer off the table, fucked it for empty. Because Scottish football, and from 2000 to 2003-04, Dundee had a cracking team. Hearts had a cracking team. There was guys going for the championship to teams.
Strongest league has ever been.
Strongest, and we were getting money. The TV deal were pretty good. We were on BBC every week. Cracking deal. And Sky, it was good.
So many examples to back that up, Mark, as well. And the thing is, these chairmen, it's now, if you actually look at how it's now sort of presented to you, back then it was all we were crazy. Football owners are crazy. No, these guys are businessmen, right, who have got to a position to be able to own a football club because they have a rough spectra on financial matters. There will be the odd exception, Giovanni Di Stefano, for example. You need to remember what are these guys that were coming in, or what are the teams were competing with English Championship mid to top tier clubs. There has to be a basis on that. You can't just go, I will make it somehow. Nobody acts like that, mate, in business, and they've never got to the top in terms of business by acting like that. So you've never been in a position of owning a football club by being a dafty your whole life, right? It doesn't make sense. Unless you've inherited money. If you've made money, then you know how money works. You don't just start willy-nilly splashing it about. And you're right, the quality that we get at that point in time, trying to explain that to a younger generation would be difficult because they'll watch footage now and go, where's the press there, son? Where's the low block from, you know what I mean? But there was internationals flooded in a lot of the SPL teams then. There was an opportunity for it to grow further. And that idiot fucked it. I don't know if we're talking about Roger Mitchell, but I love it.
I'm sure Kilmarnock, that boy they had Dindaloo, I'm sure he was in the France 98 squad, or at least the France 98 selection squad. You know what I mean? He was in their squad, and then you had, was it Cocard?
Who's that?
Was it Dindaloo or Cocard, one of the Kilmarnock boys? He was in the squad that they picked the France 98 team out of. You know what I mean? And you had
fuck off! He wasn't in the France 98 squad.
I swear, doing
Christophe Cocard. I know Guy Varsh was in it, who signed for Rangers.
Oh, he was good though. He's a good.
Terrible for them, but he squeezed through the World Cup.
For France, but I am positive when he signed for them. I remember.
Wow.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Josie, remember him signing for Hibs? Don't forget that. Do you know what age he joined them? 31, 32 years old. Like. Nowhere near past his peak, and he's a European Cup winner on that with Marseille.
I mean, they had some very good players at Dundee. We've spoken about it before. Aberdeen had a few good players as well. Just little bit with good quality players, and a few of them that turned out to be class acts in Scotland.
You know the one I really liked, and O'Neill wanted him apparently, was Nimsadze.
Oh,
the Georgian midfielder. He was top draw. He was just picking all the passes, and all the other guys were getting the glory at Dundee, like Sara, Caballero, Ravanelli when he joined. But it was Nimsadze in the middle. You went, don't get me wrong, a two-stripe version of Lubo, but Lubo came to mind nonetheless. I just thought he's got a bit of imagination about him. He had 100 caps or something for fucking Georgia.
Well, look at that boy Speroni, the goalie. He's a legend in at Crystal Palace, I think it is.
Record appearances or something, isn't it?
He was a class act. I mean, he was there for a couple of seasons. He was there for a while. I was a good few players down there at the time. And that was because the clubs did speculate to accumulate. But I think
love this. Mark, plunges came in. Why are we talking about this, Pash Push? It's why not? Plunge. You need to relax, mate. We're allowed to talk about it like it's football related, mate.
Well, they mentioned Judgement. It just goes on. Oh,
It's
well.
okay, Plunge.
Sorry,
You
we've
just
upset
watch
you.
it. I like podcasts that go down me rabbit holes. I find it fascinating to hear Mark's take on how he remembers football then. But I'm sorry, Plunge. Should we just say Celtic are shite for the rest of the night? Right, Celtic are shite.
I'll say
Go
that
on, big man.
you'll call that a bit aggy. I think we've upset folk tonight. I thought this has been a pretty positive
It's
show.
been great
We spoke about the match. We felt entitled to mention our fans getting abused. Nobody had a problem with that.
Why not talk about the future? I mean, if you just jumped on the show, Plunge, just tell the truth. Why not talk about the future? And we've literally spoken about what we would pay for players going down. Come on, you're better than that, Plunge.
Somebody asked a question about do we think it's about the board leaving in the summertime? So then we go to Roger Mitchell. The only reason why Andy mentioned the board is because Roger Mitchell put a post out last week saying he heard rumours.
He admits he's just jumped on. Right, well, there's an hour and 11 minutes for you to turn back on. You've put me off talking about it now, Plunge. Well done, you. He gets the biggest boo of the night.
Well,
but anyway,
I'm getting my dinner. I'm off to get my dinner. Boycie's got to get a drink.
I'm not going to lie to you, mate. Like, I like a party with a happy atmosphere. And I can think that... mate, I've got it on my wall. Like, see just beside Bowie. Bowie looks cool. See beside it, it's a signed fucking thing for Russ Abbott. Which is mad. Because I'm called Russell. Obviously, that's my first name, right? And I grew up on Abbott Road.
Oh, there you go then. And
I love a party with a happy atmosphere. Written in the stars, man.
Aye, definitely. Oh, well. There you go. That's that. On that bombshell, we'll end it.
We'll leave it there. Brilliant. Anyway, Judge, top form this afternoon, tonight, whatever you want to call it. Everyone else, thanks so much for watching. And yeah, take it easy. And as always,
don't trust these bastards boards. Don't trust Andy's board, whether it's Kilmarnock, whether it's the board for Di Stefano / Saddam Hussein's lawyer back in the day.
Scrabble. Didn't
Any
trust the Scrabble board. Didn't trust any board.
Any board, mate.
Frustration.
Come back on a cheese board. For nothing.
Cheers, Judge. See you all later.